How's it going, people? Thanks again for joining in. We did say we were going to have some crackers coming up, and the next couple of videos, I would say, probably fit that. And, well, first of all, you're probably looking at our thumbnail at the moment and probably wondering who is this person on the screen next to Kim. So what I want to do is pay respects to, this is Kim's half brother. His name was Michael Donovan, who passed away sadly in 2006. And Kim allegedly set up a foundation called the Donovan Foundation. Now, back in 2000 and I believe 19, we were doing a little bit of investigation, and someone in Team Bubba, and I'm sure they won't mind us mentioning their name, because if anyone goes to our Facebook page, they'll probably straight away notice who we're talking about. Her name's Martley. She was a very good, very nice, loving person, and forget whatever you've heard from Thomas Williams about Martley. Things about Martley, she triggered Thomas Williams quite a lot, and Thomas always, considering he's supposed to be some kind of a spiritual leader for Truth, Honor, Integrity show, he really did get triggered. And Team Bubba we knew how to trigger him. He was so easy to trigger. And Kim told him on several occasions not to get triggered by us, but he just couldn't help it. And one of the people that did trigger him was Martley. He hated it. One of the main reasons he hated it is because his girlfriend at the time was a friend, I would say, of Martley, and he hated it. And of course, they did a lot of spiritual work together. Now, Thomas, although he hated Martley on many occasions, he brought it up in his shows how many things he thought she'd done. What I mean by that, he would always go into Team Bubba's Facebook page, considering, he told his members he didn't, but of course he did, because most of his posts was about Martley mentioning things about Team THI, his cult at the time, and he hated it. So one day, Martley, being a really good researcher, she discovered that Kim had a brother. Now, we knew Kim was Christy Adams at the time. She uses an alias. And as soon as Martley discovered this, we did a little bit of the core members. Remember, Martley wasn't a core member. The core members did a bit more investigating, and we found on Neil Keenan's website, he posted on there back in, I think it might have been 2016, that Kim had a foundation. And this was around the time when Thomas split from another group called Cosmic Voice. Now, Cosmic Voice was run by Drake Bailey and Neil Keenan. Thomas was I would probably say the radio show host. You could call him that. Now, if you look at the thumbnail, it's got an extract from Neil Keenan's website mentioning the Illuminati Foundation. And this was supposed to be what Drake Bailey said. Now, remember, Drake Bailey and Neil Keenan were very close, and Thomas Williams looked up to Neil Keenan as like a father figure, although at the moment, or in the past 3 years, it said nothing but horrible things about him. But that's what tends to happen when you look up to someone and you find out that that person is not a nice person. And let me just clear this up. Drake Bailey and Neil Keenan are scumbags of the earth. Exactly the same as Kim and exactly the same as Thomas Williams. Now, we'll go into that in a little bit more time in a little while, but it looks like this video is going to have to be over 2 or 3. Now, you're probably wondering, why are Team Bubba bringing this up now? The reason why is a bit more information's come our way, and we've been waiting to do this for a little while. It's like most, even if you're in the, most alt media as a researcher, you need some sort of evidence before, you can make allegations against people. But, we had moles in the Truth, Honor, Integrity team, and also within Tank's team and Kim's team, that at the time nobody really knew Kim was Christy Adams at the time, but we did, because we were tipped off, having moles everywhere, which we did not. Again, we do not recruit people. They free willingly come forward and said, I've got some information on Kim or Thomas or whoever, Tank. Now, someone come forward and told us that Kim was really pissed off, seriously pissed off, and triggered that we exposed her little scam. And then what I mean by this is that Kim used a poor brother that died of it's a terrible thing to die of cystic fibrosis. And, we'll go into a bit more information about that. But to use family to make money or to hide funds or to launder funds is just terrible. And although it was Kim's half-brother, Kim decided to use his death. We don't really know. We have heard rumors that there was insurance policies involved and all kinds of things, but whatever. Kim was somehow making a poor dead brother's life a money-making opportunity. Now, we didn't want to come forward with any of this, and Martley, quite innocently, because she discovered it, and this was the start of it all. People started to come forward and tell Team Bubba that Kim did some horrible things in the past, and we've always known that she's not a really nice person. She gives that impression she's very nice, and to those that have worked with her over years and have kind of basically jumped ship with Kim and decided to go, I'm not having any more of this. They realized that Kim wasn't a nice person, and she lies a lot and lies to cover her back. Now, what I'm trying to get at here is that around September 2019, we exposed Kim, and I'll post the video in the link, and maybe I'll share it in this video as well in a minute. We posted a video about Kim and her brother and the fact that, she had this fake foundation. Now, think of this, right? You have an obituary, and you put in there, like, like most people do. Like, we don't really want any flowers or anything like that. We'd rather you donate this money to a good cause. And it might be a good cause that's quite close to the person that's, that's passed away. In this case, Kim was putting out that, she set up this foundation for a brother so that it would help him through medicines, and not just him, but other people as well. But guess what? There's no proof of any of this foundation, not one thing. Well, there's plenty of Donovan foundations out there, but not one was listed to Kim. Now, those close to Kim and those that were close to Kim not so long ago have come forward and said that she's let it slip a few times, that she's used foundations and trusts to hide money. And it's just, it was terrible. And we heard a long time ago around this time that there was something going on. Now, we posted it within Team Bubba, and also we put a video out. But, we did it through respect. This is a poor guy that's died, and with his, God bless the poor lad that passed away. And, of course, for Kim as well, losing her brother, it's still, again, she's lost her brother. But for someone to find an opportunity to make money off their brother, that side of it is terrible. So what happened next is what we're trying to get onto, is that, she made it all up. So in the part 1, which we didn't actually label as part 1, but we'll put the link in here, she was accusing us of being pedos and etc. like that. And there was myself and Barry Bigham. That's not his real name, as you know. We made these names up, yeah. And Kim still calls us that. If she was who she says she is, she would call us by our real names. But she hasn't worked that out yet, because Kim's system doesn't seem to be working properly. But anyway, because of what we did by exposing her for using her brother, she hated us. And literally within weeks, she made up bullshit about Team Bubba being pedos. Now, we've said it God knows how many times. David Rare is nothing to do with the core members of Team Bubba, just like Martley wasn't, and just like all the other ones that Thomas Williams has called out throughout his shows. Those people just were victims of him, or have worked it out that he is a scumbag, and so is Kim and Tank and whoever else. So this is what people do when they're desperate. They, she hated it. She hates us completely. Now, she might not say a lot in her shows, but she really does hate us. Anyway, what I'm getting at next is I'm going to show you some clips now, which, if you just bear me a second. Where did I put it? Here we go. So this is Neil Keenan's Group K Limited. Now remember, this was back May 2016. Now, of course, we didn't see this around that time. We saw it around about 2019 when we saw it in 2019. Oh, what's happening there? Sorry about this. Something's gone wrong on my my plane. Just making sure this is recording. This is what happens when you do kind of live recording. Anyway, so back in 2019 September, we discovered that Neil Keenan, who he looked up to as seen as, he basically loved Neil Keenan, did Thomas Williams. He's basically called him out because he left, and he left under bad terms. And this is what scumbags do. They use each other, just like Kim's used Thomas Williams. She's called him out as being some sort of sex predator. She's also called out Tank, Stephen Rowe, as being a thief, that he stole money from. Oh my gosh. I mean, she said that he claimed to make he made videos asking for donations, etc. And so after they made these, these donations, she said they didn't get any of the money, and he pocketed $100,000. Now, we heard it was a lot more than that, although that from Kim's side, and also took money from petty cash type things, some kind of like budget funds you would have in a bank account. Well, as soon as this work got found out, Kim switched it over. And if you look at one of our previous videos about that, go into more detail about slush funds and everything else that she has offshore. But anyway, This is what they do to each other. They hate each other. And also remember, Kim slagged off Dan Lutz. Thomas Williams slagged off Dan Lutz, but they was all in the same group. And guess what? Up to January this year, Kim's associate, which is Lisa Thomas, was using Dan Lutz to promote Kim's material, and we'll go into that. He really will. This is historical. This is what they do. They make out that they're no buddies anymore, but what is they branch off and continue the scam by promoting each other all the time. But anyway, so this is it. Neil Keenan update. So it ain't so Thomas Williams. I'll put the link in there. You can have a read through it all yourself. But the only thing that I'm more interested in is this highlighted bit here where he's saying, now let's get to the end of this brief post and include Christy Adams and Chloe characters of the triumvirate trio. Now, triumvirate, I believe, comes back from some kind of tyrants. So it's not very, very nice what he's saying about Christy Adams, Thomas Williams and Chloe, although many people have said Chloe's nice, but you know, I don't really know Chloe, but she's not here to defend herself. Anyway, the agent who said she never was, but had cleverly Skyped Neil. She was G5 and 10 times more powerful than the president of the country. Now, this is what Kim says today, but she was saying all this under an alias of Christy Adams, and they also kept lying, saying Christy was not Kim, and we've proven this in many of our videos. Anyway, let's continue. Who could she be? After a few of the girls got hold of her on the site, she became chopped liver, and the same for Madam Chloe, Thomas's handler. They took a fall and fell hard. No way they could be fired, was there? Their story will be revealed in follow-up, most likely, and in a day or two. Oh yeah, and what did we learn about Thomas and the girls? As for Thomas Williams, we learned, and we quote this. Okay, so this is an extract between, I guess it might be in a Skype type message between Drake Bailey, member, who was big friend of Thomas and his boss, basically, within Cosmic Voice. So this is what was said. Drake Bailey, this is what Tommy is involved in. And this is what he said. The Illuminati Foundation, Donovan Foundation, has convinced Tommy and company to go their way. That I was not welcome. Tommy was the man, and we're going to send large amounts of money. Basically saying there, Drake's not involved, although he brought Thomas in, to become who he was and still is today, a scammer and someone that's on the internet. But also in the background, there was conversations going on with Christy Adams and Drake and Neil Keenan, all buddies at the time. As soon as Kim said, no, it's just Tommy we want, Thomas Williams, this is what happens. Anyway, this is the bit where he says, get this, Thomas Williams and the funds he is waiting for are Illuminati. Thomas has jumped boats, people. He is with the bad guys. They did not want Drake, and we all heard the stories how Thomas had stabbed Drake in the back and then brought him back in when he learned he needed Cosmic Voice to fund this foundation. And the Donovan Foundation is Christy Adams, who was brought in by Thomas and Chloe to oversee the operation and where it was heading. Now, we must be careful of anyone following Thomas Williams, as they are now all suspect now as being agents. Drake wonders how many more agents are trolling his site, and it is of great concern. Trolls. It's funny that, anyway, everybody that's against Thomas Williams or Kim's either agents, KPMG, child traffickers, or whatever. This is the kind of shit that, we get labeled when you expose someone. They turn on each other, and that's what they do. But anyway, if you go down here, this is what it says. Thomas said that Drake and team never, ever said goodbye. And now you would say goodbye to Judas yourself. Just understand the place Thomas left Drake in. It's just terrible. Let's go to the obituary now before we end this video. And I said the next one will go into more depth about Kim and some of the things that Thomas Williams said about Team Bubba, and someone, Megan, that we've covered in this before, about the Universal Council, the fake ET show that Megan, in our last video was talking on an interpreter. Now, because she decided to jump ship and get into another scam with someone else called Tolek, he calls her out, and Kim calls her out and says she's in Team Bubba. Team Bubba, of all things, she's not in Team Bubba, right? Megan Martinez we've called her out as being a scammer. Why would we do that if she's one of, part of Team Bubba? This is just ridiculous. Anyway, let's have a look at this poor guy, Michael J. Donovan. This is the obituary of him. I won't go into too much detail, but as you can see in there, he passed away peacefully on Tuesday, the 5th September, after a lifelong battle with cystic fibrosis. Bless him. It must be, and for Kim's mum and family and everybody else that was, suffered through that. It must have been horrible. But for Kim to use her brother, it's just terrible. And I've highlighted there Kimberly A. Goguen of Stockdale, Arizona. It's just terrible. And, for anybody to think, oh, Team Bubba, you're sick bringing this up. No, we're not sick for bringing it up. In fact, if we didn't bring this up, you people would not know that, what she has done throughout the whole of her encounter with Thomas Williams, with Dan Lutz, and anybody else she's been with, even Charlie Ward. She's been on Charlie Ward's show. Then not long after, she slagged him off. She used him, and that's what they do. It's just terrible. Anyway, this is a bit down here where it says, sorry. Okay, in lieu of flowers, the family are requesting donations to be made to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation of Michael. The Cystic Fibrosis Foundations may be reached on this. Now, of course, this is the official cystic fibrosis site. This is not the foundation that Kim set up. Remember, Kim was the only person that donated to that. Nobody else did. And she even said that in a post, which we'll cover in our next video. Anyway, that's all we got today. We just wanted to click this. Remember, this is really key, this bit we're showing you. Kim is bound to be triggered by this, because this is the kind of shit that does, sometimes you have to dig a bit deep and pull up some bad stuff from the past. Unfortunately, this poor guy, he should be resting in peace now. He shouldn't be used in this, but there's a lot more at stake here. I'm sure her brother will be looking down saying, that's disgusting the way that you've used my name. But also be looking down and thinking, what are you doing, Kim? Please stop this. Stop this shit. Stop what you're doing. Stop making lies up, and stop scamming people. The biggest scam here at the moment with Kim, and people saying, what's she done? She's lying. She's making up a news channel, giving out intel or situation reports. That's just fiction. Just makes it up, or she grabs it off other people. Nothing ever comes true. If it does, it's because someone else has brought it up, or because she's got it off the mainstream media. Most of you people that follow her don't even watch the mainstream. So you see it as like, oh my God, that come true. Yeah, of course it did. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Anyway, we'll bring up it won't be long before the second part of this comes out, and you want to watch this because this has got some classic stuff, and we got some good feedback and our response to a message that was an audio file that was not made public, and we've discovered it, and it really exposes Kim as being a bullshitter well, you wait and see. I don't want to spoil the time. Anyway, take care, everyone. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.